Document accessibility training. The best way to start with accessibility is to keep accessibility in mind when working with your content. This means planning your content to use the best accessible methods, making sure you're using the accessibility checker often, using a checklist to double check for accessibility, avoiding shortcuts and habits that cause accessibility issues, and applying the standard accessibility requirements on all your document types. In this presentation, we'll go over the Office 365 applications, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and also Adobe PDF. Google Docs are not TA standard formats because they lack accessibility features. Standard accessibility requirements. Use the following standard requirements to make sure your documents meet accessibility. Having a title in the document's properties, using proper headings, add alternate text to all graphic conveying information, use table headers on simple tables, use descriptive hyperlink text, use color in an accessible way, and always check for accessibility. Accessibility checkers are built into the applications of Office 365 and Acrobat to help you check for accessibility issues the document might have. Use the checkers often. You don't need to wait until you're done adding your content to the documents to check for accessibility. It's a good practice to use the checkers after you add 2 to 3 pages of content. Checkers find the most common accessible problems and group them into categories. Checkers also provide an explanation of the issue and how to fix the problem. And be aware that using the checkers don't fix the accessibility issues. It only finds the accessible problems you need to fix. So for the PDF checker, it's going to be found on your tools under accessibility. Once you click accessibility, it opens up the accessibility tools and you'll see it as a full check or maybe accessibility check on the newer versions. Once you select the full check, the checker option window will appear. Make sure you keep all your check boxes checked so it can check as much as it can. And you hit the start checking button. What that does, it's going to give you all the results on the left side. For the Office 365 checker, it's going to be the same for Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. It's found on the review ribbon. So once you click on review, it's under accessibility. Check accessibility. Once you do that, the accessibility checker results are going to appear on the right side. Those are also grouped by categories: errors, warnings, tips, intelligent services. Across the 3 applications, sometimes you'll get the same kind of errors, issues, like missing alt text, headers, color, hard to read contrast. And some of them, depending on the application, are specific to certain issues that application can have. Checkers are limited. If the checker finds no issues, it does not mean your document is 100% accessible. The reason is because checkers can't inspect all the WCAG 2.0 checkpoints. Some of the features or things it can't check for are headings. If you're not using headings on your document, it will not report any issues. It will find if the headings are not nested correctly, but if no headings are not used, it will not let you know. It will not let you know if the graphics are using the proper alt text. It only finds graphics that have missing alternate text. It can't identify if your table is reading in the correct reading order. It can't inform you if you're using color to convey information, and it can't identify any descriptive links. So these are things that you're going to have to check manually on your documents. Since the checkers are limited, also use checklists. use it to do a manual check of your document. Use it kind of like a double check for accessibility. Check if the titles is in the properties, correct headings are used, proper alt text on your graphics, tables are reading in the correct order, you're using descriptive links, and you're using color in an accessible way. The other great thing about the checklist is it will help you become knowledgeable with all the document accessibility requirements. The more times you use it, you become familiar and know what exactly is required on your documents. Title is an informative label that screen readers use to identify the documents. So we are aware of the practical areas we're supposed to put a title on a document. On a Word, we can use that on the cover page or as the first line of a document. On PowerPoint, we should use the first slide to have the title of the presentation using the title slide layout. And in Excel, on cell A1. Now, at the same time, we're supposed to add the same title in the properties of the document. This is going to let the screen readers know the title of the document before it opens it. It's also going to read it once it opens it, and it's going to read it, but before it opens it, it kind of wants to know the name of the document. So this is where it comes in handy. All you have to do is really just copy the title of the document and put it in the title of the properties. So in Microsoft, you go to File, you click on Info from the left side menu. That's going to open up the info screen, and all the way to the right there's a section called Properties. There you'll find the title, and it's going to be a field, and that's where you put your title. That's the same for Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. For Adobe PDF, you go to File, from the File menu you hit Properties. That's going to open up the Properties dialog window. The first tab is called Description. Make sure you're on that, and it's going to have also a field for title, and that's where you can paste the title of the document. Headings add a structure that helps screen readers navigate a document. They kind of act like bookmarks for screen readers. Headings can be formatted for visual users, but also need to be tagged or styled properly for screen readers. Don't use headings to format text. Only use heading 1 once for the main title of the document. And headings must be properly nested, not skipped. For example, using a heading 3 instead of a heading 1 for a title, that's incorrect. Applying headings. In Word, use the built-in styles to apply the headings. Found on the Home ribbon, there's a section called Styles. You will see headings in there. There's also a title style. Don't use that for your title. Use the heading 1 for the main title. In PDF, the Reading Order tool in the Accessibility tools has the options to tag text for heading 1 through heading 6. In PowerPoint, there's no styles or headings to apply. Instead, use the proper slide layouts. The slide layouts use the title placeholders that act like headings, and don't use blank layout. Let's review the proper structure a document should have. Heading 1 should be the main title of the document and the only heading 1 on the document. Any major sections of the document should be tagged as heading 2. In this example, we have Overview, 2018 District Ratings, and 2018 Campus Ratings as the main sections of the document. Those are tagged as heading 2s. Any subsections in those heading 2s should be tagged or styled as heading 3s. Alternative text or alt text is a text equivalent description for a graphic conveying information. Blind users can't see images, so they depend on the alt text to get a description of the image. Add alt text to images, charts, and other visual elements on your document that convey information or represent data. Alt text should be concise but enough to describe the graphic. Avoid using phrases such as picture of, image of, logo, chart as part of the alt text. This is redundant for screen reader users. And also avoid using images of text. Using the proper alt text on an image is just as important. Alt text of the same image can change based on the context of the document. For example, this picture, if it's used as a generic picture on a report on reading activities, a good alt text could be teacher and students doing activities. If this picture is specific to a news article about the teacher, it needs to be a little more specific. A good alt text example could be Mr. Garcia at Big Elementary School with his first grade class. Other visual elements like logos will also need to have alt text. However, don't use the acronyms or abbreviations as alt text. For example, our TEA logo should not have TEA as the alt text. Instead, use the agency name. Same for the star logo. Use the whole name instead. Any images used as decorative should be marked decorative. This includes any lines, background colors, even icons. In PDF, they can be marked as background or artifact. Charts also need to have all the data represented and available to screen readers. Small charts, you can use the alt text to include its information. However, complex charts or charts with a lot of data should have a text summary instead of alt text on the document. Tables should be simple, used for data, and have table headers. Use tables for data. Don't use them for layout. Keep the table simple. Don't use one table for multiple sets of tables. Use one single table for separate data. Avoid blank cells. Multiple blank cells can indicate to a screen reader the table has ended. Use properly created tables. Don't use a text box or other methods like drawing a table in Word to assemble a table. Use table headers and make sure your table data reads left to right, top to bottom. This is the way screen readers read the data. Descriptive links are informative about what they do or where they go. Screen readers can scan all your links on your document and read them back to the user. So make sure every link on your document is unique and informative. Sometimes using a phrase instead of single words can be more descriptive. Don't use links that read click here, here, or more. Only links should be underlined, and embed the URL web address as descriptive links for electronic formats. Overall, links should be meaningful when read out of context. Uninformative links don't provide the depth or clarity of what the link does or where it goes. Descriptive links are able to guide users to the correct destinations. On this example, you'll see uninformative links and descriptive links side by side. See what happens when the links are read out of context. On the uninformative side, you have links that read click here, here, more, register. Not really helpful. On the other hand, descriptive links provide more information about the link. TEA webinar registration, TEA color contrast accessibility standards, upcoming TEA facility winner updates, accessibility training registrations. That's a big difference. Don't overlook color and contrast on your documents. Have enough contrast between text and background colors. Low contrast will cause issues with some colorblind users. Use the Color Contrast Analyzer tool to check color contrast ratios. When working with color on your document, be aware that light text Unlike backgrounds or vice versa, will cause contrast issues. Avoid bright red text, and make sure light text on the default white background passes contrast. Check color contrast on text and links. Don't convey information slowly with color. Screen readers can't recognize color, and some colorblind users won't be able to see certain colors. In this example, we have a picture of two calculators. One has a green check mark, the other one has a red X. For a sighted user, this can mean one's accepted for testing, one's not. However, a colorblind user might not be able to tell the green from the red. They might not see nothing, or one or the other. So make sure you have some kind of label that indicates what information these graphics are trying to convey. So we can add a label for the colorblind users for what each calculator is, and we also add alt text, correct alt text for the screen readers. In charts and table, color is often used to represent data or information. Although you can add color legends, it would only help well-sighted users. In addition to the legend, you should add the information the color represents in text so colorblind and screen reader users can identify the information. In PDF forms, required fields get a red border. This is what the PDF form application does by default, but it's not accessible. You should enhance your form by adding an indicator like an asterisk to also indicate required fields. Convert to PDF using the best methods. There are many ways to convert your documents to PDF, but only a few will support accessibility. In Word and PowerPoint, go to File and select Save as Adobe PDF. In Excel, also File, but select Save As. This will open a Save As window. In the Save As type, select PDF and save your document. Never print to PDF. Thank you for watching this training.